Hi, so I'm back again with another video on IB English Paper 1, and this time I'll be looking at how to write body paragraphs. I'm really sorry for the upload break, by the way. I had uni exams, so I kinda had to focus on those, but I'm back for now. So let's look at how to write body paragraphs. So the purpose of a body paragraph is basically just to focus on one literary or visual device and dig deep into it. That basically means include two pieces of evidence, which means like quotes or references to visuals or references to something pretty much, and just analyze how and why that creates meaning. So all the body paragraph is meant to do is to explain how the text achieves its purpose to uh, so that may be to, for example, to inform or to persuade, and what effect that can have on the reader. So does it make the reader happy, sad, angry, mad? I don't know. So that's what you're trying to do. Just remember, you're not describing what happens in the text. That's like the main mistake done in IB English that can lose you a ton of marks. So let's take a look at how to structure a body paragraph. So to structure it, all you've got to do is to write a topic sentence, uh, evidence, analyze that evidence, transition, repeat that again, and then create a link. That's pretty simple. So that's the formula that you've got to follow. Let's look at how you actually implement this formula. So the first step is to create a strong topic sentence. To make a strong analytical topic sentence, I usually follow this sentence frame right here. The blank text type employs blank literary feature to highlight, and then you say the purpose. So what a topic sentence should do is identify the device, so that's what you're doing here, and the impact that it has on the reader. So that's basically the purpose. This text type here is just sort of to make it cleanly fit in. So you can say the newspaper article or the book or the novel, right? So it's just to make a sort of clean transition. Um, so let's look at this example of a strong topic sentence. The episode employs exaggerated diction to highlight Phineas and Ferb's boundless creativity, reinforcing the cartoon's message about imagination and optimism. So here the text type is the episode. The literary feature here is exaggerated diction, and the purpose here is to reinforce the cartoon's message about imagination and optimism. So this sentence right here ticks all three boxes, especially these two, which are the main ones for a topic sentence. So it's a very strong topic sentence. That's pretty simple, so that's all we've got to do in the topic sentence. Let's just move on to the next part. So this is where it gets really important. Evidence. So in the topic sentence, you made like a general claim. So here I said it employs diction to reinforce the message about imagination and optimism. So that's the claim. Now I've got to prove that claim using evidence. Like in a court, how a lawyer has to present evidence to the judge to prove their case, you have to present evidence to the examiner to prove your case, which is the point that you've just made. And proving some really strong evidence is using some really strong evidence or proof and demonstrating that to the examiner is the best way you can earn marks. So here's some tips on how to select some evidence. First, you should choose a short and specific example that clearly demonstrates the device. That means during your reading time, you should just look through, identify some of the most prominent devices, and then identify where in the text that device is most clearly visible. So, for example, here, exaggerated diction. So, if someone said, I could eat 1,000,000 burgers to say that they're really hungry, then that's exaggerated diction, right? Because no one can actually eat 1,000,000 burgers, but it shows that they're really hungry. So that's a really good example of exaggerated diction. Um, Next, if there's a textual reference that you're providing to the examiner, then you have to place it in quotation marks and ideally provide a line reference. To do that, you just write ln and then the line number, and you put that in brackets at the end of your sentence. If it's a visual piece, for instance, if you go here and you're saying this Perry the Platypus image here is visual evidence to show how he's sneaky or something like that, then you just say where the Perry the Platypus can be found, what he's doing, and how that, and a very, very short sort of brief overview of how that proves your literary feature. So it doesn't really fit for diction, but it could fit for something like color or facial expression, something like that. So just state where it can be found and then describe that evidence. Next, you've got to make sure to integrate that into the sentence very smoothly. This means you just briefly link the evidence back to the literary feature. So here, for instance, Phineas proclaims, "Verb, I know what we're gonna do today." And that's the quotation that Phineas says. Well, I mean, he hasn't actually said it, I just made that up. But let's assume he says that. And then here I have a short link. So it reinforces the show's message that curiosity should lead to action. So that's the link back to this literary feature. So the diction reinforces that. So that's how you should sort of write it. So the main sentence for him to take away here is some sort of very, very brief intro, then the quote, and then his or her or whatever there, and then you put here the literary feature and then reinforces blah blah blah. So it's very easy. Now this is the main part of your essay. So analysis is extremely, extremely important. This is where almost all the marks you get are going to be coming from. So sort of nailing this is going to help you improve your grades a lot. So what is analysis? It's just unpacking the effect of that evidence. So the evidence that you've selected here, you're just unpacking it in detail now. So what that means is that you're not restating. So if, for instance, this evidence right here, if I just simply say Phineas understands what he wants to do on that day, that's just saying this exact same thing in a different style. And that's not what you want to do for analysis. You want to see the importance of how that literary feature creates the effect that the author wants it to, and also how that affects the reader or the audience. So does that literary feature make the audience happy, sad? I don't know. What does it make them? And make sure to use analytical verbs. This is one of the easiest ways to pick up points for analysis, because you're basically signaling a big green flag to the examiner, saying, look, this is my analysis, give me marks for it. So these are some of the best words. You can read through them yourself, and these are some of my favorites to use in paper 1. For paper 2, I feel that there's much more, because you can use stronger language there without it feeling forced. And I'll go over that in a different video for paper 2, but for paper 1, these are some of my favorite. Make sure to avoid saying shows. Use some of these instead of saying shows, because shows just implies that you have pretty poor command of the English language. So yeah, it's not great. And then the link to the effect right here is also very important. This is possibly the most important thing, because you're basically saying this is how the text achieves its purpose of entertaining, persuading, or informing. So you're basically saying through those one or two link sentences, the meat of your body paragraph topic. You're unpacking everything and you're linking it back to the purpose. So that's very important. And then maybe just add a sentence at the end discussing about how the device makes the audience feel and why. So for instance, if it's about turtles dying due to climate change, you can just say the text makes the audience feel quite sad because they feel empathy for the turtles who are dying. Of course, you'd say that in a more formal manner, so you wouldn't say words like feel sad. You could use some more strong, more lexically sophisticated vocabulary. For example, distraught, distressed, dejected, something like that. So make sure to repeat your analysis twice per body paragraph and have two pieces of evidence. That's something I forgot to mention here. So just have two pieces of evidence per body paragraph and one analysis for each evidence. So two pieces of evidence per, two pieces of analysis per body paragraph. So here's an example of the analysis. You can read through it if you'd like. I'm not going to read the entire thing because it's quite long, but I'll just break it down. So the main thing we're supposed to do here is link the effect directly to the text's purpose. So right here, I've said that the effect, the excited tone, establishes a sense of energy and optimism and defines the character and the show's overall mood. So that's the purpose right there, establishing a sense of energy and optimism to link the character, to define the character and the show's mood. Right? And now I'm delving deeper into that. So the exclamation that reflects his obviously his excitement, and this shows the enthusiasm and drive that he has and positions him as a symbol of youthful imagination. So I'm delving deeper on what sense of energy and what sense of optimism it creates. And then I'm saying through this line, the writers create a familiar, anticipatory rhythm to engage viewers and encourages them to look forward to each new invention. So now I'm also considering the line between the purpose and the audience. And now I transition a little bit more to the purpose towards the audience, how it makes the audience feel. So I'm basically just saying the diction and repetition reinforce the show's main purpose of entertaining audience and promoting curiosity, initiative, and joy of discovery among the audience. So yeah, that's basically covers all of what this asks you to do. So now step 4 is a transition. A transition sentence is basically connecting your first piece of analysis to your second piece of evidence. So it's just something to make it flow well, and it's not really that important, but having a strong transition sentence can make your essay sort of seem a bit more polished. So to write a strong transition, you just need to make it feel like part of the sentence and make it related to the context. This basically means that you shouldn't have an abrupt ending to your analysis and you shouldn't have an abrupt starting to your evidence. So it should just be something really short, like to further amplify this sense of excitement. So this right here is your transition. And now you're going into the second piece of evidence, right? So it's just a very small phrase here to sort of ease us into the next section of the body paragraph. Step 5 is just repeating the evidence and analysis once again, so you have a stronger, meatier body paragraph. And step 6 is a link. This means that you finish by circling back to the purpose and the audience. It's just one sentence, so you can be very brief, but you should just keep the feature in mind and connect it to how it achieved its purpose and the audience. If possible, the strongest links connect to the overall theme or a feature in the next paragraph. And to do something with a feature in the next paragraph, you'd say much like how the writer's blah 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 achieves a similar effect. So here's the example of a link. This wraps up the thing nicely, and you can have a read of it if you'd like. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So if you've done all of this, you know how to construct a key body paragraph. So let's just very quickly look through the steps again. So first, you need a topic sentence to identify the device and the impact on the reader. Then you need to choose specific evidence, which is the best demonstration of that literary feature in this text. Then you unpack the effect of that evidence and look at how it shapes the text's purpose as well as at how it shapes the audience's perception. Then you should just make a small transition before repeating this evidence and this analysis again. And then you should just close off your paragraph in a circular fashion to maintain some flow. and maybe just make a small connection to the next section. So here are some key tips that I used that helped me get a 7. First, I focused on one device per paragraph. I used one device per paragraph and wrote 3 body paragraphs. This meant that over the course of my essay, I analyzed 3 body paragraphs, 3 literary features across 3 body paragraphs. So then make sure that you always link back to the purpose and audience. This is sort of the key point on paper 1 that nets you most of the marks. It's very important to link back to the purpose and the audience. And some smaller pieces of advice that I have are to use varied transitions and use some analytical vocabulary like I showed here. So some of these. So just memorize some of these and sprinkle them into your writing. So here's an example of an actual body paragraph for an actual exam. I've highlighted the topic sentence, the evidence, the transitions, the second piece of evidence, and the link, so you can have a read through it if you'd like. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope this helped you.